Hi, I'm Megan McKenzie.
And I'm James Rowland.
Welcome to this edition of Teens in Action.
In this show, we focus on cigarettes. We'll explain why smoking can turn into an addiction, how tobacco companies use advertising in movies to target teens, and what the many chemicals in cigarettes do to your body.
Each day in the United States, nearly 4,000 kids try their first cigarette. What makes them want to try? And how long will it take before they start craving cigarettes?
We sent our Teens in Action reporters out on the street to ask you what you think about teen smoking and addiction.
It's widely known that smoking cigarettes is bad for you, yet more and more teens start every day. So Teens in Action went on the streets to ask you, why do teens smoke?
It's to relieve stress, or they think it's cool.
They get into peer pressure with all their friends because they want to look cool.
Most just want to be cool because other kids do it.
I think teens smoke because they're under stress.
I guess it's obviously peer pressure and because they want to experience, most likely.
Because they want to be cool.
Because they're pressured to.
Maybe they get pressured into it by other people, like peer pressure.
I think teens smoke because they're under stress or they try to solve their problem. Peer pressure, I guess, because
You smoke, then you're cool.
Because they want to be cool.
I don't think it's really peer pressure. I think they're just curious.
Boredom and peer pressure.
Over the past decade, there has been virtually no decline in smoking rates among teens. Do you know how many of your fellow teens smoke in the United States? Is it A, 23% of high school and 10% of middle school students? Or B, 1/4 of all teens? Is it C, 4.5 million teens? Or maybe it's all of the above?
Let's say a D, all of the above.
First one, 33%.
I say D, all of the above. I think it'd be 1/4 of teens.
All of the above.
All of the above.
I say D, all of the above.
4.5 million teens?
D, all of the above.
Well, all of them were right. What is addiction? It's defined as both a physical and psychological craving for something. Let's hear some of the answers we got on the street.
Addiction is when you can't stop. You always want more and more. You can't have enough.
Starting something and not being able to let it go.
You know, when you're hooked on something, you can't get off of it.
When you can't help but do it over and over again.
You need to have a substance so badly that you'll do anything to have it.
You start something, you can't stop.
When you can't control your craving for something?
Heroin, crack, that's addiction.
When you start something and you can't live without it and it just becomes part of your routine.
Somebody's addicted to something, they really want it every day, and if they don't have it, they'll do anything to have it.
When you have something and you can't stop taking it.
When you can't stop smoking or doing what you're doing.
Addiction is when you can't stop.
Addicted to like some type of drug and you love the feeling and you just can't get enough of it.
On average, how long does it take to get addicted to smoking? A, 1 cigarette. B, 1 pack of cigarettes. C, don't worry, it takes a long time. D, a few weeks. Or E, 2 months.
Well, it really depends, but I'd say 1 cigarette.
It takes 1 cigarette.
I hear a lot, once your first cigarette, you can just like get hooked on it.
1 cigarette.
1 cigarette.
1 cigarette.
Probably take 1 cigarette to get addicted to it.
I think it's 1 pack. Once you try it, you're probably already addicted to it.
Pack.
Few weeks, because once you start doing it for a couple of weeks, you're just like, hey, I'll try it again, and then it keeps going and going over and over again.
Few weeks, I think. Probably a pack.
Actually, on average, it takes a few weeks of even casual smoking to get addicted.
When you smoke a cigarette, nicotine reaches the brain 10 seconds after the smoke is inhaled. Your brain quickly gets the message that it wants more of the chemicals you're feeding it.
We wanted to get a better understanding of how smoking harms your body. So we went to Providence St. Joe's Hospital to talk with a professional about this issue.
Hi, I'm Shadi from
Hi,
Member of
Shadi.
Teens in Action.
I'm Dr. DeMonte.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Why don't we go over this way and take a tour of the hospital?
All right, sounds good. So, what are some common myths with smoking?
Well, that if you smoke less cigarettes, it's safer. That if you don't inhale, it's safer. or that if you use a lower nicotine or lower tar cigarette, that it's safer. But it isn't. It's still smoking.
It's been known that nicotine is just as addictive as cocaine and heroin. How does that work?
Well, addiction, there's two components. One is that it gives you a feeling that you desire, okay, which is, and smoking will give you a pleasant feeling initially. The second aspect of addiction is that it, if you don't have it, you will have withdrawal effects, also which you will experience with smoking.
What are the physical effects of nicotine on the brain?
Well, nicotine, what it does is it releases a chemical which then affects the CNS, or the central nervous system, the brain, and that gives us the pleasant feeling. When that wears off, you get tired, you get depressed, and then the brain is actually actively seeking out the nicotine again, and that is the addiction.
So in a previous segment, we've talked about how the 8 ounces of tar collects in your lungs over a year when you smoke just 1 pack a day. So can you explain how the lungs do that, and how does it function that way to absorb that much tar?
Well, what happens is tar is one of the things in smoke. When you smoke, it comes down into your lungs, into your bronchi. In the bronchi, there's something called cilia, which are these tiny microscopic hairs that beat upward to try to get whatever gets down into the lungs up and out. This tar, the smoke, all of the carcinogens in the smoke tend to slow down the beating of the cilia, meaning it doesn't allow the cilia to move properly, function properly, and what will happen is that it ends up getting stuck in there. Okay, so as a result of the tar being in there, you have more increased mucus production that isn't being expelled by your body, and so it makes you more susceptible to things like bacterial or viral infections.
More smokers get heart disease than lung cancer. So why is this fact not emphasized as much?
Well, the thing with heart disease is that there are a lot of causes for heart disease. Aneurysms, where you get bulging out of some of the major blood vessels, other things like emphysema, asthma, chronic bronchitis, high blood pressure, and possibly high cholesterol, possibly diabetes. It all leads up to this heart disease. That's why it's important to know that smoking definitely is a big risk factor for developing heart disease.
So in a sense, you're saying it's kind of like a domino effect leading to heart disease.
Oh yes, definitely. That's a good way to put it together.
Today, we are all concerned with our physical appearance. Can you just briefly explain to me how smoking affects it?
Well, primarily, I think one will notice that it ages a person by a lot in a very little amount of time. It gives you wrinkles, it yellows your teeth, it makes your hair and your clothes smell, and if you're active, it sort of decreases your athletic performance, and also makes you more risk for developing injuries and also healing less.
A cigarette burns super hot at its core. This heat breaks down the tobacco and produces poisons.
One of these cancer-causing poisons is tar, a sticky, brown substance that damages your lungs, stains your teeth, makes your fingernails yellow, and gives you bad breath.
So we went to the mall to get some hands-on reaction on how tar collects in your lungs and makes it harder for you to breathe.
Smoking harms nearly every organ in your body. More than 4,000 individual compounds have been identified in tobacco and tobacco smoke. One of the most damaging compounds in tobacco is tar. We headed to the mall to ask you how many years it takes for your lungs to collect this much tar from smoking.
Smoking is pretty serious, so I'd say just 1 year.
I have no clue. 3 years maybe?
10 years.
5. 3. 6.
A year. 2 years.
1.
5 years. Couple years.
5 years.
Say 2 years.
No, 1, 2. 5 years.
5.
1, 2.
A week. Probably like 2 years.
Yeah, a year, about a year.
A year?
A year?
3.
Actually, it only takes 1 year smoking a pack a day, and this much tar sticks to your lungs. There are other immediate effects that smoking has on your body, like bad breath, yellow teeth, you and your clothes smell like smoke, and it begins to limit your active life. So we asked teens to breathe through this shortness of breath cigarette and tell us how they felt.
I don't know. I really don't see the point of smoking. Anything that makes you want to cough or throw up the first time you try it.
I would never do that again.
Harder to breathe with it.
I'm lightheaded a little.
I couldn't breathe through it.
I've never been into smoking ever, so I don't like breathing in anything that's uncommon.
Felt kind of lightheaded.
It's not a good feeling.
I'm short of breath.
It hurt.
It feels bad. It feels kind of hard to breathe in it.
Like, wish I could breathe harder.
Shortage of air, like I couldn't breathe that good.
And how breathing like this all the time would affect their lives.
Wouldn't be able to do anything.
I wouldn't be able to move. I'd be lethargic all the time.
I think I would probably get cancer and then, yeah.
No, that would just suck. I wouldn't have enough oxygen to like survive.
I wouldn't be able to do anything. Like, I would just be sitting down on the couch, like, yeah.
Wouldn't be fun.
Cough a lot.
Wouldn't be able to do sports. That's just unhealthy. You can't be very active while you're doing that. It's not a fun thing.
I don't know, it'd probably be hard to do like sports or any other exercises.
It would damage my lungs.
Being addicted to cigarettes means that you are mentally, physically, and socially dependent on them. Many people put off quitting, saying that they'll do it when the time is right.
It may never feel like the right time, and quitting isn't easy. We wanted to get a better understanding of how to quit, so we found someone who knows what to do to help you take that first step.
Well, thanks for coming and answering some questions for us today. Studies have shown that there are 5 steps for quitting smoking and quitting for good. Can you name those 5 steps for us?
Yes, the first step would be getting ready, preparing. The second would be getting support. The third, we talk about learning new skills, learning new behaviors to replace the smoking in your life. The fourth would be getting medication, the proper medications. Then the fifth step we talk about is being prepared for relapse difficulties.